The night shift at Mercy General Hospital had a rhythm all its own. The fluorescent lights hummed softly. The occasional beep of monitors echoed down quiet hallways. And in the break room on the fourth floor, Olivia Palmer sat alone, watching the city lights twinkle beyond the window. She had been a nurse at Mercy General for 2 years now, having chosen this particular hospital specifically because nobody here knew who she really was. To her colleagues, she was just Olivia, the dedicated nurse who picked up extra shifts and never complained about the hard work. They didn't know that her father was Richard Palmer, CEO of Palmer Industries, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the country. They didn't know about the mansion she had grown up in, or the trust fund she refused to touch. Olivia had made that choice deliberately. After watching her older brother become entitled and lazy, living off their father's wealth, she had decided to forge her own path. She wanted to earn respect through her work, not her last name. She wanted to know that when people valued her, it was for who she was, not what she had. The sound of footsteps made her look up. It was him again. Ryan Mitchell, the medical student who worked nights as an orderly to pay his tuition. He was in his late 20s with kind eyes and a smile that made even the longest shifts feel lighter. Olivia had noticed him months ago, not just because he was handsome, but because of the way he treated every patient with genuine care. Ryan pushed a mop bucket down the hall, his blue scrubs slightly wrinkled from a long shift. He saw Olivia and paused, offering her a tired but warm smile. "Rough night?" he asked. "Just taking a moment," Olivia said. "You? 3 more hours of mopping and I'm done." Ryan leaned against the wall, pulling off his gloves. "Then I have a pharmacology exam at 8 in the morning. Living the dream." Olivia admired that about him. Despite working grueling hours and juggling school, Ryan never lost his optimism. She had overheard him talking to patients, making them laugh when they were scared. She had seen him stay late to help elderly patients call their families. He was going to be an excellent doctor someday. "You'll do great on the exam," Olivia said. "You always do." Ryan looked surprised. "How do you know that?" Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "I've heard the residents talking. They say you're one of the best students in your class." "Well, that's kind of them to say." Ryan's smile widened. "Though I'm pretty sure they're just being nice to the guy who cleans their break room." They both laughed, and the sound filled the quiet hallway with something that felt like hope. Ryan had been working up the courage for weeks now. Every time he saw Olivia, he wanted to ask her out, but the timing never felt right. And if he was honest with himself, he was scared. What could he offer her? He was drowning in student debt, working a job most people would consider beneath them, living in a tiny apartment with 2 roommates. Meanwhile, Olivia seemed to have her life together. She was smart, accomplished, and beautiful. She probably had plenty of better options. But tonight, watching her sit alone in the break room, looking out at the city with such thoughtfulness, Ryan decided to be brave. Life was too short to let fear hold you back. "Hey, Olivia," he said, his heart pounding. "Can I ask you something?" She turned to face him, her expression open and curious. "Of course. The hospital is having their annual charity gala next month. It's this fancy dance thing they do to raise money for the pediatric wing." Ryan took a breath. "I know it's probably not your scene, and I completely understand if you say no, but would you want to go with me?" He rushed through the words, trying not to think about all the reasons she might refuse. The gala was formal, and he would have to rent a tux he couldn't afford. She probably thought he was crazy for even asking, but Olivia's face lit up with a smile that made Ryan's breath catch. "I'd love to," she said softly. "Really?" Ryan couldn't hide his surprise. "You're sure?" "Because it's formal, and I know buying a dress can be expensive. And if that's a problem, I completely understand." Olivia's smile turned gentle. "Ryan, I want to go with you. I promise, the dress isn't a problem." What Ryan didn't know was that Olivia's closet at her father's estate held dozens of designer gowns she had never worn. What he couldn't know was how much his invitation meant to her. In the past year, she had turned down several men who had asked her out, all of them from wealthy families who saw her only as Richard Palmer's daughter. But Ryan didn't know about any of that. He was asking her because he wanted to spend time with her, the real her. Over the next few weeks, Olivia found herself looking forward to work in a way she never had before. She and Ryan would steal moments during their shifts to talk. He told her about growing up in a small town with a single mother who had worked 3 jobs to support him and his younger sister, about how his mother had gotten sick when he was in college and how that experience had inspired him to become a doctor, about his dream of practicing family medicine in underserved communities. Olivia shared pieces of her own story, carefully editing out the details about her family's wealth. She told him about wanting to help people, about finding purpose in nursing, about believing that meaningful work was the most important thing in life. She just left out the part about having the financial freedom to choose that path without worry. The night of the gala arrived. Olivia had told Ryan she would meet him at the hospital rather than having him pick her up. She claimed it was easier because of her schedule, but the truth was she didn't want him to see the luxury building where her apartment was. Not yet. She needed him to know her first before the money complicated everything. Ryan arrived early, nervous in his rented tuxedo. He had saved for weeks to afford it, cutting back on everything else. When Olivia walked through the doors, he forgot how to breathe. She wore a simple but elegant pale blue gown that caught the light as she moved. Her blonde hair was swept up, and she looked like something from a dream. But what struck Ryan most was her smile. It was genuine and warm and directed entirely at him. "You look beautiful," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "You clean up pretty well yourself," Olivia said, taking his offered arm. The gala was being held in the hospital's grand ballroom, a space usually reserved for board meetings that had been transformed with flowers and lights. As they entered, Ryan noticed the way people looked at them, or more specifically, the way they looked at Olivia. There was recognition in some of their eyes that confused him. Dr. Harrison, the chief of surgery, approached them immediately. "Miss Palmer," he said warmly. "How wonderful to see you here." Olivia's smile tightened slightly. "Dr. Harrison, good evening. This is Ryan Mitchell, one of our medical students." "Ah, yes, Mitchell. I've heard good things about you." Dr. Harrison shook Ryan's hand before turning back to Olivia. "Does your father know you're attending? I'm sure he'd want to make a donation." Ryan felt the ground shift beneath him. "Palmer. Miss Palmer. Did your father know?" Pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. He looked at Olivia and saw the truth in her expression, the apology in her eyes. "Excuse us," Olivia said quickly, taking Ryan's hand and leading him away from Dr. Harrison. They found a quiet corner near the windows. The city sparkled below them, indifferent to the tension crackling between them. "You're Richard Palmer's daughter," Ryan said flatly. "The pharmaceutical CEO, that Palmer." "Yes," Olivia said quietly. "I am? Why didn't you tell me?" Ryan's voice cracked with hurt. "Did you think it was funny? The poor medical student working as a janitor, asking out the secret heiress?" "No," Olivia said urgently, reaching for his hand. He pulled away and she felt something break inside her. "Ryan, please. That's not why I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you because I wanted you to know me. Just me. Not my father's money or my family name. Just Olivia." "I don't understand," Ryan said, shaking his head. "You work as a nurse. You pick up extra shifts. Why would you do that if you don't need the money?" "Because the money isn't mine," Olivia said fiercely. "It's my father's, and I don't want to live off someone else's success. I watched my brother become a person I barely recognized because everything was handed to him. I wanted something different. I wanted to earn my place in the world, to know that the respect I get is because of what I do, not who I'm related to." Ryan studied her face, seeing the sincerity there, but he also felt something else. Embarrassment, inadequacy. He had worried about her buying a dress while she probably had dozens. He had saved for weeks to rent this tux while she could have bought the entire store. "What are we doing here, Olivia?" he asked tiredly. "You and me. We're from completely different worlds. I worked 3 jobs to afford ramen and textbooks. You're an heiress playing at normal life." The words landed like blows, and Olivia felt tears burn her eyes. "I'm not playing," she said, her voice shaking. "This is my real life. The nursing is real. The friendships I've made at the hospital are real. The way I feel about you is real. Ryan's head snapped up. What? I care about you, Olivia said, letting the truth spill out. I've cared about you for months. I love the way you treat patients like they're your own family. I love that you keep going even when you're exhausted. I love that you believe in something bigger than yourself. The money doesn't change any of that. But it changes everything else, Ryan said. Don't you see? I can't give you the life you're used to. I can't take you to fancy restaurants or buy you expensive gifts. I'm going to be in debt for years. Decades, probably. I don't want expensive gifts, Olivia said desperately. I grew up with all of that, and it didn't make anyone in my family happy. My parents barely speak to each other. My brother is miserable despite having everything handed to him. The only time I've felt truly content is working at that hospital, helping people, and talking to you during break times. Ryan wanted to believe her. He could see the truth in her eyes. But years of struggling, of being told he wasn't good enough, of watching wealthy people look through him like he was invisible, those experiences had left scars. I need some air, he said quietly. Ryan, please don't leave. I'm not leaving, he said. I just need to think. He walked out to the balcony, and Olivia let him go, her heart breaking. She had known this moment might come. She had prepared herself for it. But nothing could have prepared her for the pain of watching him walk away. Inside the ballroom, someone approached Olivia. It was Dr. Martinez, one of the senior nurses who had mentored her, an older woman with kind eyes and a reputation for speaking her mind. That boy loves you, Dr. Martinez said without preamble. He just found out who I really am, Olivia said, wiping her eyes. I think he hates me now. He doesn't hate you. He's scared. Men like him, who have worked for everything they have, they carry pride like armor. He thinks he's not good enough for you. You need to show him that's not true. How? Olivia asked helplessly. By being honest. About all of it. About why you hide who you are. About what you want from life. About what you want with him. Dr. Martinez squeezed her shoulder. And maybe by understanding that letting him be proud of what he's accomplished, letting him take care of you in the ways he can, that's not about money. That's about respect. Olivia found Ryan standing alone on the balcony, staring out at the city. She approached slowly, giving him space. Can I tell you something? She asked softly. Ryan nodded without looking at her. When I was growing up, I watched my father work constantly. He built his company from nothing, and I was proud of him. But somewhere along the way, he forgot why he started. He forgot about helping people and started focusing only on profit. My mother tried to fill the emptiness with charity galas and social clubs, but she was lonely. My brother never learned the value of anything because he never had to work for anything. Olivia took a breath. By the time I was in college, I realized I didn't want that life. I didn't want to be defined by my father's success or my family's money. I wanted to build something of my own. So I became a nurse. And I chose Mercy General specifically because nobody there knew who I was. For the first time in my life, people valued me for what I did, not what I had. She moved to stand beside him at the railing. Then I met you. And for months, I watched you work harder than anyone I'd ever known. I watched you treat every patient with kindness, even when you were exhausted. I watched you study during your breaks and still find time to make people smile. And I fell for you. Not because of what you could give me, but because of who you are. I asked you out thinking I was the one doing you a favor, Ryan said quietly. Thinking I was the one with nothing to lose. You were doing me a favor, Olivia said. You asked me out because you wanted to know me. Not my father, not my family, just me. Do you have any idea how rare that is? How precious? Ryan finally turned to look at her. I'm still going to be broke for years. I'm still going to work crazy hours and struggle to make ends meet while I build my career. That doesn't change. I don't want it to change, Olivia said. I don't want your struggle to be easier because of my money. I want to walk beside you through it. I want to celebrate with you when you pass your exams. I want to be there when you match for residency. I want to be your partner, not your benefactor. And if I need help? Ryan asked. If things get really hard, I have too much pride to take money from you. Then we'll figure it out together, Olivia said. Like partners do. I'm not asking you to take my money, Ryan. I'm asking you to take a chance on me, on us. Just two people who care about each other and want to build something real. Ryan was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "I've never been to a gala before. I didn't know which fork to use at dinner. I probably embarrassed you." "You didn't embarrass me," Olivia said firmly. "You held doors for strangers. You talked to the catering staff like they were people instead of furniture. You made me laugh. You made me feel seen." "That's worth more than knowing which fork to use." Ryan reached out and took her hand. "I'm sorry for walking away, for doubting you. I'm sorry for not being honest from the beginning," Olivia said. "I was scared. I thought if you knew, you'd see me differently." "I do see you differently now," Ryan said. Olivia's face fell, but then he continued. "I see someone who's braver than I thought. Someone who walked away from comfort to find purpose. Someone who's been hiding her light because she was afraid of being judged for the wrong reasons." He cupped her face gently. "I see the woman I'm falling in love with. The money doesn't change that. It just means I need to work harder to be worthy of you." "You already are worthy," Olivia whispered. "You always have been." Ryan kissed her then, soft and sweet, there on the balcony overlooking the city. When they pulled apart, both of them were smiling. They returned to the gala hand in hand. People stared, whispered, speculated, but neither Olivia nor Ryan cared. They danced together, and it didn't matter that he stepped on her feet twice or that she laughed too loud. They were together, and that was all that mattered. Months later, when Ryan matched for his residency at Mercy General, Olivia was there cheering louder than anyone. When he finally paid off his student loans years down the road through his own hard work, she celebrated with him as if it were her own achievement. Because in a way, it was. They had built their life together, brick by brick, neither one carrying the other, but both walking side by side. Eventually, Olivia introduced Ryan to her father. Richard Palmer saw immediately what his daughter had found. Not someone seeking his wealth or influence, but a man who valued his daughter for who she truly was. A man who worked with integrity and treated people with respect. The kind of man Richard had once been, before success had complicated things. Years later, when Ryan opened his own free clinic serving underprivileged communities, it was funded partially by Palmer Industries. Not as a favor and not because of Olivia, but because Richard had learned from watching his daughter and her husband that real success meant using resources to lift others up. The night of the gala had taught them all something important. That wealth without purpose is empty. That hiding who we are out of fear serves no one. That real love isn't about what we can give each other in material terms, but what we can build together through trust, respect, and partnership. Ryan had asked a nurse to a dance, unaware she was a CEO's daughter. But what he had really done was ask a woman who needed to be seen for who she truly was, not what she had or where she came from. And in doing so, he had given her the greatest gift possible, the freedom to be herself. Sometimes the best relationships start with small acts of courage, a simple invitation, a willingness to be vulnerable, a decision to look past surfaces and see the heart beneath. Ryan and Olivia had found that courage together, and it had changed both of their lives in ways neither could have imagined, because at the end of the day, it's not about the gown or the tuxedo, the mansion or the tiny apartment. It's about finding someone who sees you, truly sees you, and chooses you anyway. Someone who understands that the most valuable things we can offer each other aren't things at all, but rather presence, partnership, and unwavering support as we each pursue the purpose that drives us. That's what love looks like. Not a fairy tale about riches or rescue, but a real story about two people building something authentic together. One honest conversation and one brave choice at a time. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more meaningful stories. Share in the comments about a time when being yourself attracted the right person into your life. We'd love to hear your experiences.